up, fight fans? So we got ourselves a little bit of depressing news this fight week. A little bit. I mean, it's guess you could say it's good news, bad news. Good news is that it looks like Errol Spence is booked for a fight, and it's going to be against Keith Thurman. Bad news is, and that is kind of bad news then, because we want to see Errol Spence against Terrence Crawford, hands down. I mean, there's not another fight out there that we want to see Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford face. But nonetheless, bad news is it's going to be 154 pounds. It makes me wonder, guys, is Errol Spence going to be done with the welterweight division? And if that being said, can we pretty much kiss that much anticipated fight between Errol Spence and Terrence Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford goodbye? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I just feel like if this fight was going to be made, it would have been made by now already. I don't know what's going on. What's the holdup? Me personally, I kind of wish that negotiations would happen live. Like, I wish we could have negotiations like press conferences where we could see behind the scenes, where we could see who is the one that really does not want to fight. Because sometimes the person that talks themselves too high, like, hey, you know what, I want to fight you, but I want 90% and you get 10%. That's not a person that really wants to fight, because no one's going to agree to that. Or I want it this way, I want it that way, I want the gloves to be this, I want the ring to be that, I want this and this and this and this and this and this. When someone comes in with all stipulations, it almost feels like they are trying their best to make sure the fight doesn't happen, and at least they can say, hey, I wanted to fight, but he just did not agree to it. And I would just really would love to see that. I would love to see that live. I would love to see someone, because I guarantee you these fights would 100% be made and then all of a sudden get canceled behind the scenes, because nobody wants to look like a punk and not give in. Nobody wants to look like they're a greedy person during and live. If you put that stuff live, you put that contract signing stuff live, you put the negotiations live, I promise you 90% of the fights would be made, because you'll have that pressure of the fans, how they would really look, because behind the scenes nobody could see anything, and it's all he said, she said. It's all like, well, he wanted this, well, no, he wanted that, well, they wanted this, well, they wanted that. It's all this back and forth nonsense, and nobody knows really anything. And of course, no one's ever going to say anything. No one really wants to talk about it because it's business. So, but nonetheless, it's unfortunate if this fight does not happen, or if a fight happens a couple years later. It's like you guys went after that Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather route. You let it marinate so much that it's no longer even needed anymore. It's no longer even wanted. By that time, who knows? You guys already passed their prime. You guys are not looking as sharp as you used to. You guys are already on your way out, instead of being in the prime of your life. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. That was by far the worst mistake Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather ever did. I know there was a lot of negotiation back and forth, but it really left a really sour taste in the boxing world, because it's just like, we want to see these fights now. We don't want to wait forever. Maybe you wait a year or two, build up the fight just a little bit. But when you're waiting 5-6 years, it's bad. It's really bad for the sport. It really makes us just not care anymore. And that's the point where we're at. We don't even care if we hear about these guys. And I promise you, these guys won't be making as much money. These guys need each other. They're going to go down in history, and they're going to look at each other, and they're going to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe one day you will be in the Hall of Fame. Maybe one day you'll go down as a great, but there's always going to be that little asterisk right next to your record, both Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. And they're going to say, what if these guys fought each other in their prime? What if? And unfortunately, there's nothing you could do a lot about that. You can't go back in the past. You can't redo anything. When you make that decision to wait a couple more years, when you make that decision to not fight now, there's no going back. There's no redos. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, guys. I do hope Terrence Crawford does mix it up with Errol Spence next year, or excuse me, this year, maybe in November. I want to see Terrence Crawford in the ring a little bit more. We already got Errol Spence possibly going in there, mixing things up with Keith Thurman. You never know. Maybe Errol Spence, or excuse me, Keith Thurman, Terrence Crawford could move up in the junior middleweight division with Errol Spence, and these guys could fight at a much heavier weight class. You never know. You could see maybe Terrence Crawford go against a Danny Garcia. Those two tune-up fights right there. You got Errol Spence, Keith Thurman. You got Danny Garcia versus Terrence Crawford in November. Boom. Big showdown. Big pay-per-view, guys, for these guys. Big main event for these guys. So hopefully it happens, guys. But let me know in the comments, what are you thinking? Let me know in the comments, what do you hope to see happen I definitely would love to know what do you guys feel and what are you thinking regarding this fight, because I'll be very disappointed if it doesn't happen. That's just my personal opinion, guys. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.